There it is. There's the notification.
Awesome. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the group real quick. And we'll get rolling on. What's up, folks? Thanks for joining us on another podcast. Getting the behind the scenes. Doing some plugs here, and then we'll be rolling. Rolling
We'll put
into
it on my
Elliot's.
community tab real quick.
Awesome.
You're putting it on Facebook, you said?
Yeah, I can get that if I can find it. Unless you just got it and you want to drop it in there too.
No, I can do both. I don't care.
Okay, yeah, sure, go for it. But talking about Elliot's favorite topic tonight.
I do love teal. I was just thinking about how delicious they are today. They're so delicious.
Yeah, the first way I ever ate teal was on a bed of rice.
How'd you cook the meat?
I just on a iron skillet.
Did you I didn't realize you updated the picture on Duck Gun Podcast.
Yeah.
That's a cool picture. Man, that's a great picture.
Yeah. Too bad I didn't take it myself.
Yeah, I saw that we kind of had a voting
little rolling contest we got each month.
Yeah.
Next one will
Yeah,
be,
that was cool.
Early teal and early goose submissions. You got those.
That is a great picture.
Yeah, that is awesome. You got those in there? You ready to roll?
I'm trying. My computer's not exactly going quickly. All right, that's Facebook one done. I got probably because I have about 13,000 tabs open.
It's a little rough.
Yeah. So have we started? We haven't started recording, have we?
Yeah. I mean, but I just edited it off. But we'll get going into the main thing once you're ready. But I'll go ahead and say hello to some of these guys. What's up, Foul Assassin? What's up, RB? And Whack'em and Stack'em Outdoors. Hook Z. What's up, man? And Logan. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking about early season teal here in a second. We'll be rolling live with the podcast. We're doing a little bit of plugging, letting the audience know that we're live a little bit later than normal. Well, we have a lot of guests cancel on us. Just part of the game with podcasts. So got a little bit later start than we wanted to, but we're here now, rolling. Hey, what's up, Dad? Dad dropped in the chat right there. So got another live viewer.
I think my dad's about to drop in as well.
Awesome. You know, I need a sweet nickname for my dad too. You got Fumble Mints, and trying to think of one.
Well, speaking of Fumble Mints, he cannot find the link to the live stream.
My favorite duck to shoot is probably a pintail. If just nothing makes me happier.
It's such a build up for you, man. It's gonna just crush you because you're gonna shoot a pintail and then you're like, that wasn't quite as good as what I had. Actually, that's not true. It is awesome to have a drake in your hand.
It'll be the other. I'll be like, I don't know, like slow motion music, me running out there, and I have like a drone going 360 around me as I'm standing in the marsh, arms raised. I fall to my knees. That's how I envision it, but it's like the long struggle's over. Climbing.
I hope it happens. I hope it happens in November with the Flyway collective group thing.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Oh, my wife says, "Don't tell me there is no Freddie." I know, I am so bummed. We were supposed to have Freddie King on tonight, and my wife was even brainstorming some pretty awesome questions. Inside joke there. And anyway, we had to postpone him till September 4th. So I've been looking forward to it all day because that guy is cool. He's a stud. So a little bummed about that. A little bummed about it. Yes, wifey, no Freddie.
All right.
She said she wanted her question asked.
Well, maybe
Go ahead and
we can just ask the listeners in chat right now.
I think I could probably ask the question
What
in
is?
this format, don't you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Freddie King, I'm sure most of you guys know who Freddie King is. He is a dog trainer and almost a household name, I would say, in the waterfowl industry and even just among common waterfowlers. Would you agree with that statement, Jordan?
Yeah. Yep.
And so Jordan and I are both using his training website, theretrievertrainer.com. And Freddie is really accessible as far as the Facebook group and everything. Just a great guy. And he'll just, help you out and give you advice. Anyway, on his website, he's got a feature where he takes these puppies and he shows them from 7 weeks on, and each week he's putting out videos of here's what I'm working on this week, here's what I'm working on that week. And the dog, the one that I find the best to follow, and it's grown up now, but is a dog named Teat. And so my wife is just bugging me. And it's really funny because she normally doesn't have this kind of humor. So I'm actually a little bit surprised and proud of her because it's funny. She keeps urging me to ask him why he didn't name his dog Nipple instead of Teat. And so jokingly, Jordan and I put up a spreadsheet before we have guests on of kind of like an outline of what we're going to say and everything. And so before he looked at it, I put that question in there to ask him as to why he didn't name his dog Nipple instead of Teat. That's the big joke.
Yeah. Elliot always has to put something in there that we can't actually use for the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. It is a running theme. It's a running theme that I will put some notes in there that there's no way we're gonna publicly
Yeah.
say.
I guess we both do it every once in a while. So poking fun
Yeah.
at something or each other. So
So
you think?
have we? Is this part actually going to be on the podcast? Because
You
I
know
got
what?
things I want.
Maybe it should be, but we should
I think
probably
it should be.
roll the intro and get it.
All
We'll
right.
just have it a little bit different than normal. So right now is perfect time to roll the intro. So what's going on, folks? I am Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles. Got my co-host Elliot, gray, kind of ish beard. Another rolling joke that most people probably don't think is funny as we do, but Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting alongside me, and our topic for tonight is going to be teal season preparation. So, yeah, something we're both pumped about doing, and the first hunt this year I'll actually be out there in Kansas with Elliot getting skunked. So, can't wait for that.
I don't think so. I don't know if I've told you, but there is areas out there that are packed full of great flooded vegetation. So had I told you that?
No, withholding information as usual.
Yeah. Well, because we've had so much rain, I know the last time I said that there was no duck food out there, which moist soil vegetation, and there is several pools. In fact, the one I hunted with Ben Page last year, that very one, and then the one I'm going into too many details, but anyway, there are three separate marshes out there I know of that are just jam packed with millet and duck food.
Awesome.
So we're gonna be.
So
I
we're
think we'll be
saved.
fine. Well, I know that there. All I know now, how many people will be trying to get into those spots is I don't know because the state is barren of duck food on public land right now because this water that came in here in May still has not drained out. My local reservoir is now like a foot and a half from they're dropping water out, but it's still a foot and a half above flood stage. So if it goes down another 2 feet, it'll finally not be flooded since May. So there's no duck food hardly anywhere in the state of Kansas as far as your public hunting goes. But not ever. I mean, there are some, but it's so I didn't know how we do because normally the teal are they're just there like crazy. So, but I know for a fact there's areas of really excellent, excellent food. So I do feel better about it for sure.
Awesome. Should be good. So, kind of puts us in a weird spot because we actually recorded our intro and we're on episode 106, and correct me if I'm wrong, Elliot, but this is the first time we've ever had this happen where the intro of a podcast or a podcast portion of it didn't get recorded.
Yeah, I know. We get on there and you're like, okay, let's go. And you never, not only did you not hit record, because the way we do it, guys,
No,
is,
I recorded just me.
oh, you,
Yeah, I didn't realize that you weren't in the actual studio for recording.
oh, so you had set up the link. Okay, guys, so let me take a step back. Jordan and I meet up on Discord and we chit chat, pleasantries. Jordan compliments me because he knows that my ego needs it a lot before we start. Then we go over to
You forgot one
cast.
part. You always tell me some kind of bathroom story, and
Yeah. And Fumblemits, if you are listening, it was your bathroom story that was told, but I've sworn to secrecy. Not even Patreon's going to hear this bathroom story unless I specifically get Fumblemit's handwritten approval that I can tell the story. It's a bathroom story. And if I don't know if he's watching yet or not, but if I can tell that story, let me know because I will. But yes, we do like passing around bathroom jokes. So anyway, then we go over to a second format, which is cast, and that's where we record. But Jordan set it up, never gave me the link, and we started recording, which I should have known because I missed the process. So we did this whole 20-minute intro of just Jordan talking to himself
which
about Freddie King.
was mostly just me listening to you talk. But
Well, we don't want to break up a good thing.
yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Then we couldn't get Freddie on, and now it's like
yeah. So
marathon
now we're
night.
an hour and 50 minutes late for our normal podcast time. But we're here. We made it. But it's kind of, I mean, we already talked about all this stuff. I don't even remember what we need to talk about from that intro. But I do know one part I want to say. I already told you all about it. Sent you the picture, but I got a new duck truck for all the traveling and stuff. Got a reliable vehicle and something I can put the gunner kennel in. Chief won't be, coming in from the swamp inside my vehicle anymore. So
that will make a huge difference in your life. I know when I made that transition, I don't even remember what I had. It's some kind of stupid vehicle, not near as cool as your Jeep, but it's like all the filth and junk from waterfowl hunting gets confined in that, and then by the end of the year, it's like you got plants growing in the back seat, and because of all the dampness, and
yeah.
you have to have a truck. So that's a big move in your life for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm super pumped about it. And two, kind of the reliability factor. I told you previously, breaking down an hour away from home, and I don't want that happening on any of these collabs or any cool hunting trips I got planned. Just because I don't want to miss out on this, or I don't want to get stranded in Omaha, Nebraska, out in the middle of nowhere or anything. I have to be calling Matt to come pick me up or something.
Yeah. Did you keep the Jeep or did you sell it?
No, I actually traded it in.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it was much more cool to get the money for it to put towards the vehicle.
Yeah, well, this truck is a lot cooler. That's pretty much exactly what I want, except I'm gonna get a longer bed than that. Is the only thing because this one I have now is 5 or 6 foot bed, and it's fine. I've done everything I've needed with it, but some of our trips I'm like the kayak hauler, so I've had 3 ascends in there plus all of our camping equipment, and I mean if you get a 6 foot bed with 3 kayaks, tents, sleeping bags, coolers, that's kind of maxed out.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
I agree.
and so I'm hoping to get a little bigger. I'm hoping by the end of the season I can get a new truck because the one I bought is just the good thing about it was I paid cash for it and it was only 3,900.
Awesome.
The bad part about it is that 250,000 miles and has since cost me. I've got about $7,000, $8,000 in it at this point. So it's still I don't have any monthly payments. That was my goal. I don't want monthly payments. So, but it has been a bit of a pain as far as it just got out of the shop again, actually.
Yeah, I hate vehicles that nickel and dime you, and that's pretty much what I've had my whole life. So I'm hoping this one won't be as bad.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can turn the truck, which is a Ford F-150, into my boys' vehicle, and they can share it. That's my hope, is I can upgrade and then pass that one down to them since it's paid off. Then we can just that's what I'd like to do, but we'll see.
Awesome. All right. Well, little short and abbreviate intro, but you want to go ahead and jump into the main topic, or?
Yeah, let's do that. But before we do, I want to remind you guys, if you have not started listening to the MVM show, which is Titus from Mid Valley Mercenaries, he is a member of the Flyways Collective, which is myself, Freelance Duck Hunting, Jordan at Duck Gun Chronicles, Mid Valley Mercenaries, which is Titus, High Prairie Sportsman, which is Matt, and Virginia Outdoors Unlimited. We've joined this little collaborative called the Flyways Collective. But if you have not listened to Titus's podcast. Make sure you check that out. And please come and join us over at Facebook. The group is growing like crazy, and there's so much conversation going on over there. That's Fellowship of the Duck Guns.
Awesome. And just kind of on that same line, we actually created it. We didn't join it, Elliot.
Well, you created it. I joined it.
No, we all created it together. It was a team
Yeah,
effort coming together. So it's something we're actually really excited about. And we got awesome collab coming November 1st. You guys probably saw all of our videos up on YouTube announcing that. So we got one early in November out there, going to be doing a collab with the Flyways Collective, all those guys. Also, reviews, make sure you guys hit up the 5-star review. We're getting a ton of them flooding in here. We still got a bunch of those barrel stickers. We want to get them out to you guys to give you kind of our thanks for giving us the review. So the way you do that, review, iTunes, 5-star. Send an image over to me of the review at duckgunchronicles@gmail.com and just tell me your address and what color you want, and I'll get it sent your way. So now a quick word from our partners, and we'll jump right into the podcast. Alrighty, we're back, Elliot, and the topic for tonight is teal season preparation, and so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I guess first thing, let's talk about what dates are your teal season?
Well, I in Kansas here. Teal season opens up September 14th and runs 3 weekends in a row, right across. I live smack up against the border. I mean, where I work, I can actually see the Missouri River, which is the border. So I've got a friend who teal hunts on the Missouri side, and that opens up the 7th of September. So I'm hoping I can get out with him on the 7th, so I can get in 4 weekends of teal season instead of 3.
Awesome. And I'm kind of similar. I'm not as close, but I'm less than 30 minutes from Michigan. So September 1st, we got early goose. So I'll get the first weekend, and that same weekend, the 7th, you got pretty much all the way through September. I'll be hunting. But early teal, the first teal hunt that I plan to get on, actually, I could up in Michigan if we get one while we're goose hunting. But besides that, the first one I'll get on is when we're going September 14th, that weekend.
I normally get in between 4 and 5 teal hunts during the teal season, but this year, if things go well, I could get in 6 because 2 of the weekends I hunt Saturday and Sunday, and then 2 of the weekends I would just hunt on Saturday. Which that would be 2, 4, 6. So normally it's 5 because I only have the 3 weekends. So 5 or 6, I'll be happy.
You definitely have enough gray in your beard and teal hunts under your belt to be considered the expert kind of in this area.
Well, I don't know about that. We certainly have been doing it for a long time, and I don't know if I'd consider myself an expert, but we certainly do have a lot of experience.
Man, that's not what you're telling me before we went live. You're pounding your chest and
Lies, liar.
All right, so let's just jump to the next topic here we got. And guys, we actually did kind of a series on this last year, so it's kind of a little bit updated. We're always changing and our opinions on it as we kind of grow and learn more. But kind of a new thing. We got a lot of new viewers, or not a lot of new listeners. So I'm sure this is kind of a great one to revisit, and we're both pumped to get into teal season. So, you want to go ahead and take it away on the first topic?
Yeah, so we are talking about teal calls, and I guess I don't know when they started making teal calls. I know I did not use one. I'm trying to think when I started. It would have been 5, 6 years ago, I think. But I'm bought and sold on the actual teal call. Now I know a lot of people won't. Some people will just take a regular mallard call and try to make it sound like a teal. But from my experience, anyone outside someone named Bobby Hayes is going to struggle to make a mallard call sound like a teal call. Now, I just put a link. I put a link here on the live stream. And those of you that are listening, if you want to join us on the live stream, it's normally 6:00 Central on Saturdays. On Wednesdays, you can get on YouTube to Jordan's Duck Gun Chronicle, and you can actually interact with us and talk. So I just put a link up here for people to go and listen to what an actual blue wing teal sounds like. And if you can make that sound, with your mallard call to sound exactly like that, I'd like to hear it because I know some people can. I know Bobby does a pretty good one, but I would assume, and I'm just guessing here, that the majority of the people that try to make that call with an actual mallard call don't sound as much like a teal as using an actual teal call.
Yep. No, I kind of agree. I've done both, and like I'm honestly, it takes a lot of work for me to kind of get in the right zone where I can do it with the mallard call. And it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of when I first started goose calling, and every time you go to blow it, you're kind of scared that it's going to come out sounding terrible, and you're just going to scare the
Mm-hmm.
geese away. So that's kind of what it feels like to me trying to do it with just a mallard call. And like you said, there are some people who can do it, but for me, it's just man, like you can go on Amazon, you can buy one for $11 and put it on your lanyard, and if you don't want it the rest of the season, you just take it off. But it's literally $11 to have a perfect teal call that you use the same exact way you use a mallard hen call. So for me, it just makes sense. I'm just going to use the teal call every time.
Yeah, me too. And I wish Fumbles was on this live so he could help me out with some of the dates because I know for a long time we just used mallard decoys and mallard calls, not like a mallard call sounding like a teal, but just a mallard. We just blew at them just like a mallard, and never would I see. When you're calling a big duck, and if things go right, I always call it you got them on a rope where you hit that call and they like break their back to turn around. I mean, as soon as you hit that call, you get an immediate reaction where they set their wings and do a full 360 circle down into the decoys. I never ever had that happen when I was using a mallard call. And I put out a video, I don't think it was last year, I think it was the year before, and called Do Teal Calls Actually Work? And I've got 3 or 4 video clips where I hit that teal call, and immediately when I hit the call, they react and 360 right down into the decoys. So I know for myself, I am completely sold on on the teal call. And I've said that to people, and I've had them say before, like, well, they're just coming into the spinner. But if you, and the spinners are unbelievably successful with teal too, and we can talk about that. But if you watch these video clips, and you see me hit that call, it's not the spinner. These birds are going by. You hit the teal call, and bam, they're killing themselves to get down in the decoys. So, and I would not go without a teal call for sure.
Yep. And kind of the last thing on that is the whistle. And, I got this cool little custom whistle I got from Pull Custom Pattern Calls, I believe is what it is. And also I got the 4-in-1 Primos one. But, something like that you can use real well for teal. It's super easy, especially if you got some youngsters with you that don't know how to quack. Give them a whistle. Sounds super easy to make the sound for that. So have you used the teal whistle much, or do you just stick with the call?
I stick with the call. I just don't have enough faith in it. That's true with like a mallard drake call as well. I've got those things, and the only time I ever try to use them if I'm kind of feeling like the birds are maybe call shy, but normally in my group I'm the main caller. Aiden calls a little bit, and I just don't have the confidence in those whistles and even like I said, mallard drake call to use them a lot because I mean I don't feel the confidence in it. Maybe that's the wrong opinion on my part. But I think that the way I would like to use them is like you said, if you've got 3 or 4 guys calling, then you've got 1 or 2 guys on kind of those off calls. But if it's just me and maybe one other person calling, I have them on my lanyard. I just don't use them.
Yeah.
I'll use the pintail. I'll use the pintail if I see them for sure. But other than that,
Yeah. No, I mean I like using the whistle, but it's something I think I need some more kind of time with to get that big confidence, like you're saying, to say one works kind of better than the other, or one is more necessary to have than I guess the whistle if it's necessary beyond just having the call.
yeah, I'd say
So
probably not. As long as you're, with the teal call, you've got to educate yourself on how to use it. It's not the same cadence as a mallard call, and I've certainly heard people blowing a teal call and trying to blow it with a mallard cadence. It's just not the same cadence. If you go to the link I put out, which is Cornell Lab, They call it decrescendo. I don't know how to say this word. Decrescendo call.
Crescendo?
It, it's no, that's not the word.
Oh,
Decrescendo.
gotcha.
The crescendo. Anyway, that it's a different cadence than a mallard call. So if you just go on YouTube, I know Duck Commander has several tutorials on the duck call, on the teal call, and if I like just listening to the natural ones too, and just hearing the natural. And I know like with the teal call, I certainly got my cadence just from listening to teal. And anytime I'm out there in the dark, if I can hear those blue wings doing that call, I pull up my call and try to just mimic them right afterwards, and that's where I want to get my cadence from, is right from the field. But it's a different cadence than the hen mallard call.
All right. Next topic we got here. Let's go over kind of motion decoys, motion in the set for teal hunting. So go ahead, take it away on that.
Well, teal love spinners. There's no doubt. In fact, I'm going to be putting out a video. I was watching an old hunt from last year, and it was the big duck opener last year. And I've got some footage where Aiden and my dad and I were hunting, and we were not getting ducks to come into the decoys. We got a couple teal, but we weren't getting ducks to come in. But I've had the GoPro set up, and even though the ducks were not coming in, there's like 3 or 4 times where there's a teal coming towards the set. The teal see the spinner and they just dive bomb right at the spinner, and then right when they get to it, they flare off and go somewhere else. But when I watched that video, I was like, oh my gosh, it made it so obvious because they didn't even want to sit in this place, and they weren't. We actually ended up having to move somewhere else because they weren't coming in and landing. But when they saw that spinner, just seeing how they were reacting to it, and like I said, I'm gonna do a whole video on this just so I can show this footage. It really just struck home to me as like, yeah, teal love spinners, but you don't need a ton. You don't need a ton. We just use one. And some people use doves. I don't particularly care to do that, but I know some people do use dove spinners. But I've got a little teal spinner, or even just a mallard spinner is fine too.
Yeah, I've used Dove Mojos plenty of times, and they seem to do fine. And usually, the only reason I would do that is because, like my other spinners are broke, or the batteries aren't working, or I busted a wing. But I've had no trouble having Dove Mojos in the set for any type of duck, honestly.
Yeah, well, here's the reason why that I don't like dove spinners. Number one, most of them, not all of them, have white on both sides, so it looks different than your regular duck spinner. And if you look at it, its wings spin faster. Now, does that actually matter? I'm not sure if that actually matters, but I know for a fact that it spins faster. And I
Not if your
saw,
batteries are dead.
well, that's not going to spin at all.
Well, if they're almost dead, they spin slower.
Yeah, well, there you go. If you go with dead batteries, that's a good tactic. Uh, but also, twice when Aiden was out hunting, a hawk swooped at his dove spinner. Now, this is so little data, and I'm always talking about you need a certain amount of data in order to form an opinion. So I'm going to go against my rule on that. I'm sure that if I put this out, people are going to say this has happened to them with regular duck spinners, and maybe it has. But I personally have never seen a hawk swoop on a duck spinner. And so, but I've seen it in the short amount of times that I've seen a dove spinner out there. It's happened twice. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what am I learning here? I'm going to do, does it, if is a hawk telling the difference between a dove, and is that why he's swooping at it when he never did at the other spinners? And so if that's the case, does it look non-natural to a teal as well? My guess is I'm probably way overthinking it, and dove spinners probably work every bit as good as a teal spinner or a duck spinner. But that's what the emotional side of me is saying.
So the other thing you said, they all have white on both sides, but I have two, and they both are got gray on one side and white on the other.
Okay. Well, my experience with them is so limited that I probably shouldn't even be commenting on it, honestly, because I've seen a dove spinner used like 3 times, and in my mind it was white on both sides. But Aiden's probably listening to this, going, "Shut up, you idiot! It's not true. There's gray on the other side." But that was what I saw in my mind. But like I said, they
It was
probably
just
work just
spinning
as well as
so
anything else.
fast, all you saw was white.
Maybe so. They probably work just as well. I've got stuck in my mind. I don't like them.
Yeah, you're just kind of snobby about your mojos, apparently.
I don't want a dove out there. I don't like doves. I call them rats with wings, and I don't want them out there pulling in ducks.
Man, you're
Little
not
rats
gonna
with
be
wings.
making any friends calling doves rats with wings. There's a lot
That's
of
what I
people who
want.
love mojo or love mojos. Well, love dove hunting.
Have you ever had one in your hands?
Yeah.
Rats with wings.
I
Are they
don't
a
know.
little bit? Aren't they? Are they not just a little bit scummy?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, when you're holding a teal in your hand, think of having a teal in one hand and a dove in the other.
Oh, I know which one I'd rather have, but I don't think there's anything.
One is like classy, clean, and this other thing is floppy and like feathers falling all out of it with its dumb little beak. They're like little rats with wings. They're delicious rats with wings, but
All right,
they
and the
are.
next subject. Oh yeah,
There's
so
got to be someone out there that agrees with me.
yeah, maybe, probably somewhere, but kind of moving to the next thing. Do you ever try using a jerk rig, or you just so dead set on using the mojo that you
Yeah,
don't really need any motion besides that?
yeah. I've never set out a jerk rig for teal, and we don't even hardly get hidden for them either.
Yeah,
That's what's so nice about teal season. You don't have to work. I mean, we don't put zero effort into the hide, but it's like 1/10 of what it is for big duck season.
yeah. Well, the
I
other
mean,
thing
they
too is your hunts usually end like first shooting light. It's kind of same thing for me with wood ducks. It's just so dark usually during the hunt. If you're hunting in daylight though, it seems like you need better hide than you do like first light.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. My experience with teal is that if you're in the right spot and you've got the spinner going and you're calling, I mean, the hide that you need is minimal. I know one of the videos from last year where the boys were with me. I mean, we were basically just sitting totally exposed, and that hunt didn't end until 10.
Mm.
And we were totally exposed. We were kind of sitting with our back against a fence post, but we basically had no cover. We were right on top of the decoys, four of us, and we just didn't have any problems. I don't ever remember saying I need to be more hidden with teal, and of course we're hunting a place that has a lot of them, and these birds have never been shot at. They're by the third weekend maybe a little more, but I mean even like deep into October when we're shooting blue wings, it's just they just are not wary like other ducks are.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree to that.
Hey, did you see Peter on the chat board? He says, "Yeah, my ex-wife called doves rats with wings, and she was pissed he was going dove hunting." So one wife agrees with me.
There you go. All right, so moving on to decoys. I already know your opinion on this, and no one's ever called you strongly opinionated, probably, but go ahead and let's dive into that one.
I just want to match whatever species I'm hunting. I just want it to be as authentic and real as what's out there. So I want to use teal decoys. And I don't want teal decoys with the white stripe on their face, although we have used those most of the time. But this year we're going with the greenhead gear, just all hen pack, because they don't have their colors. So I just much prefer. I want teal decoys if I'm teal hunting, and I don't want any. If there's no mallards around, I just don't want any mallards in the set.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I've used. I know you can do it if you're kind of unlimited on a budget. You can use just hen decoys because I've done it in the past. It works. I'm sure that just having the teal probably works better. But if you have no budget to work with to get more decoys, that way your ex-wife doesn't get mad at you or anything. Then going with the hen decoys is gonna be okay. It's not. I don't think it's the end of the world.
No, it's not. Here's what I know for absolute certainty. When we went the first 15, 18 years of our hunting, we used mallard decoys, mallard calls, and no spinner. And blue wing teal season was past shooting. Now that we use teal decoys, teal calls, and a spinner, we shoot him decoying almost every single time at point blank range. Now, some people are going to say, well, that's just the spinner. And I'm admit the spinner may be the biggest factor out of all those. It probably is. But I know that we made the switch to those things, and teal season has completely changed from pass shooting to decoy shooting. So I'm stuck in my ways, and that's what has worked for us. And I don't see any reason to change anything. But it's my guessing it's probably the spinner is the main factor in that. But I certainly like to have it the way we have it with the calls and the decoys as well. But you're probably right. Hen decoys are probably fine.
Yep. Yeah. So, I guess that probably covers the decoys. I guess what kind of set size do you like to run?
I like 4 dozen. I like about 4 dozen. I want. I want.
Any reason
I
not to
don't.
go bigger?
Well, I don't typically have more than that. More than 4 dozen teal decoy. If we do, then we might stick in some widgeon or some gadwall decoys or something like that. But I know this year I'm going to have 4 dozen, and that's what I'll use. We probably sometimes used 5 or 6 dozen. Last year, I just don't. I don't know that you need that many. I can't remember how many dozen we were using last year, but 4 dozen is quite a bit. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good teal set. So I feel comfortable with that number. And some people just like a 1 or 2 dozen, but I always go for big spreads over small. And it depends on the hole too. If we have a tiny little hole in the cattails, then it's going to be hard to even get 4 dozen out. Like I doubt we used that first hunt last year with Ben from Foul Front. I doubt we used 4 dozen. The hole was so small. We probably only used 2 dozen.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Alrighty. Next subject we'll kind of want to touch on is ammunition, and I'll kind of lead on this one. So in the past, so I would say the best size to go for teal is right around number sixes, depending on what kind of ammo you're using. But number sixes in the past, I've gone as big as number twos, which was a big mistake. Went with number twos for everything strategy, and I had a couple teal hunts in the early season. Well, number twos on teal just your pattern isn't dent enough. So definitely go with something a lot bigger than that. And what are your kind of thoughts on that, Elliot?
We went from 4s to 6s last year, and I love the 6s, and I'm super excited to be going to the 7s. You were talking about shot, right? I was daydreaming, looking at talking to Golden Boy on the chat screen.
Yeah, yeah,
You were
no,
talking about shot size, right?
yeah, yep. So yeah, number sevens, we're both going to be shooting Boss this year. So number seven in Boss, using the bismuth, copper coated bismuth, you can definitely go a smaller size, because if not two, because you're going to have higher density, so you get higher density pattern when you have smaller BBs. So that's kind of a good way to look at it on that. So I think we're both going to be jumping up to sevens, if not just sticking at the sixes, for teal. So
Yeah. Well, like I said, I used 6 steel last year, so I mean, if I could go to 8s bismuth, I would.
they don't
As I
have
was,
eights, yeah.
yeah, but I would if we could. I mean, that's what we always shot quail with, was 8s and in lead. So I mean, we had the phenomenal year. Didn't lose a single bird. Didn't hardly have any cripples last year with 6 steel. So, I mean, seven. I'm pumped. I'm thrilled that we're going to sevens. And
Yeah.
another thing I'll say that is that we're going to 2 and 3/4 inch shells as well, which I know some people when they hear that they have a negative perception of it. And I think that maybe some re-education needs to happen because um, 2 and 3/4 inch shells are. I mean, we've used those. I only switched to threes in the last 5 years or so, and Boss is putting basically the same payload in that 2 and 3/4 inch shell as a 3 inch. So
Yep.
um, I'm
There's no
thrilled with
different
the load.
size and speed or anything like that. So it's just, um, I guess, a little bit less, as far as the BBs go, but they can pack more in there with bismuth being able to compress than steel. So it's kind of just save yourself some money going to the 2 and 3/4 opposed to the three,
Hmm.
and that'll make a big difference in a case when you're looking at the 3 inch size versus 2 and 3/4.
Yeah. So do not be afraid to go to that 2 and 3/4 because, well, like I said, Fumbles was reloading, and even before that from Federal, we shot 2 and 3/4 steel for years and years and years, and no issue with it at all. And with bismuth, it's just going to be that much better.
Yep, for sure. I'm super pumped to see that. Um, kind of throughout the season, how it all goes. Definitely excited for that. Next topic here, we're gonna talk about chokes, and I think I can speak for Elliot. He's kind of gone ahead and made the decision this year to switch to full choke on Teal.
Yeah, extra long.
He's going
extended full choke on Teal is what I'm going to use.
Extra extended full long, for those weary Teal. That's your plan, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to get a barrel sticker that says, oh my gosh, I had it right in my head.
Spray and pray.
Oh, it was something better. I had it in my head. I was going to say, it's something like if you can't decoy him, then spray him or something. If you can't slay him, then spray him. Extra extended long choke.
Yeah. So if you haven't picked up on it, that's a joke. So yes. Elliot will probably be doing. Maybe he'll just take his choke out altogether and just shoot it like that.
Hey, don't kid yourself. My dad was using a skeet choke for quite a while.
Yeah, that's
and then cylinder, he went to improved. What's that?
Is that the same as cylinder?
I'm not positive. If anyone knows, help us out. I think that I don't think it's the same.
So it's pretty much just enough metal to cover up the threads.
Yeah. Yeah. He used that for quite a while. I'm pretty sure he did. He's using improved now. And I've used improved 1 year during Teal season and loved it. With these 7s bismuth, I'm a little bit tempted to go to improved cylinder, but I just need to pattern it, and I'm not going to have them soon enough to pattern it because I know with these heavier metals, sometimes they don't pattern the same as the lighter metals, and sometimes like with just a regular bismuth, they'll say use a full instead of modified.
If I get there in time, which I think I will, we can probably pattern them that day before.
Okay, well, all we'll need is just remind me, and I'll bring the paper for it because we can do it right down to my uncle's with no problem at all.
Awesome. No,
we just need the paper. Yeah, because I'm getting there early, so I would like to do that. And we could get an extra video on that. I would certainly like to do that.
Awesome. No, I'm definitely
because if I could get away with using improved, I would. I want as open as possible. I just do not buy into this new running theme that more and more people are saying that full chokes are better in close because I either want to kill them or miss them. I lost 1 or 2 birds the entire year last year. I just don't buy in. People are hearing other people say it, and this opinion is spreading like crazy that full choke is better in close. And I have never patterned bismuth, so I'm speaking to steel right now because I haven't patterned bismuth. But as far as steel goes, I just do not buy that full choke is better in close because you're either gonna kill him or miss him. When I'm using a modified and I'm losing, I think I lost 2. Oh yeah, I lost 1 goose and 1 teal last year on the whole season using my modified and shooting them in close. I do not agree with that motto that more and more people are saying.
All we need is just a little column on FDH stats that says choke.
I know it's coming. It's coming. Yep, Freelance Hunt Stats. Jordan's calling for it. I want spinners and I want chokes.
What was the other one? There was another one.
I
want leaderboards.
Yeah, I know.
Leaderboards and then gun, so I can track which gun I suck with the most.
Yeah. The gun, yeah, I know. It's just a matter of what I can get added to. So, but speaking of that, if you guys have ever wanted to keep track of your hunting information, you get done with a hunt and you want to record the date, the weather, any notes about anything interesting that happened, the temperature, how many birds you shot, where you were when you shot the birds. If you've ever wanted to record that kind of information, Freelance Hunt Stats is the perfect place. I believe it's the best place online to do it. I've searched, and for that type of a method, there's very little out there as far as hunt journals go that are of any quality. There are a few other, but they're very, very lacking compared to what Freelance Hunt Stats offers. So head on over there, freelancehuntstats.com, and set yourself up an account and get logging because it adds. I'm glad I got you into it. You were really diligent about it last year. I was glad about that.
Yeah, me too.
Because it does take some discipline. It does. It takes some discipline.
Yeah, and I slacked on the
fulfill that.
weather sometimes, but I always got my numbers in there. That was the main thing for me. I really wanted to see kind of where I was shooting them at, and I really wish I would have remembered the weather, but you know how it gets for us when we have a super busy schedule.
Sure.
So, you know,
Well, the whole thing takes I mean, really, if you're skipping the weather, you're skipping literally about 20 seconds worth of clicking. Not even that. I mean, you
well,
can click the weather in 10 seconds.
yeah. The only problem is if you do it like 2 days later and you're like, I
Yeah.
don't remember what the weather was.
Well, I need to have set up an automatic weather posting in there,
That'd be
to where
awesome.
it's just a matter of paying the money to have that done. But one thing I get this complaint from people, it's like, well, I don't really want to keep track how many shells I shoot, I mean, the way the system is set up, you only have to log what you want to log.
Yep.
If you never want to keep how many shells you shoot, you don't have to. There's nothing in there that's mandatory. And then when it kicks out all your numbers, it just ignores what you haven't posted, and it's set in a way that it will not throw off your numbers. Like if I go 5 hunts and I don't keep track of how many shells I shot, and then the next five I do, it still gives you an accurate reading, which I mean, so you can add you can include what you want and what you don't want. So don't let that deter you if you hear things that you don't want to keep.
Yeah. Definitely agree on that. So, anything else you kind of want to throw in here before we wrap this one up?
I don't think so, but other than the fact that it's getting really, really close, and I don't know if I can start feeling it. Like it's
Yeah.
close. It's gonna
No.
happen fast, and man, it's been a long wait, and we've filled
Well,
in our time by talking ducks, but it's almost here.
you got T minus 31 days for you. No, minus a week. So T minus, mass right there, 24 days for you. And then for me, T minus 18 days till I'm out in some early season goose and dove and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's here. It's really going to be here by the time the podcast comes out a few days later. So we're talking like a couple weeks and we'll be into it. And man, that's when it all gets fun. We don't have to just talk about strategies. We can implement them. We can be out there every morning, scouting, hunting, filming, putting up the content. So definitely excited. Really, really pumped to get into season again. It's been, man, this off season has been dragging on. I mean, it's also flown by at the same time, but I'm ready to get out there.
Well, and all the super fun trips we have just makes it that much. I mean, like the first Kansas Teal weekend, it's you and Ben from Foul Front and our wives. We're renting out this amazing hunt lodge that my uncle built, and I mean, we're making a whole weekend of it. And that, man, what a way to kick it off! It overlooks this refuge. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be more fun than because we normally can't, but this is gonna be like luxury.
Awesome.
I
Yeah,
cannot wait.
I can't wait either. So, all right. Well, I think this one wraps it up. Got to give a big shout out to all of our listeners. You guys sticking with us episode after episode and, telling all your buddies to come listen to the podcast is growing like crazy. We couldn't do it without this awesome community showing up all the time. So we appreciate you guys. And that's all we got for this week. I'm Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles, Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting, and we'll see you guys on the next one.